greetings! A fine day to you. Oh, not just good spirits, the best. You could punch me in the throat and I would still be smiling. I would also be a corpse, given how fragile I am.
Well, that's the good.
But I would die happy, knowing I helped relieve you of your stress. Actually, I'm not in a good mood, but a normal one. I'm not the type to detour from bliss. My mind is only capable of one type of thinking, the positive kind. Which is why it came as a shock to hear one of my friends accuse me of being, quote, less than courteous to him during a chance meeting in Skyrim. It turns out that he had the displeasure of meeting my doppelganger, though I myself have never been this far north. According to him, this Altmare wore my face as if it were a tunic, and summoned my voice as if it were a spell. Only he failed to use them in the manner for which they were crafted. He was rude, salty, and threatened my friend with bodily harm. In other words, he was strong. He was brave. For a sworn coward such as myself, I was rather intrigued at the prospect of meeting such a fellow. And by all accounts, he is guilty, if his mirror opposite is any indication. I'd start by asking him about his personal history, see where our paths diverged. If our resemblance is truly as uncanny as my friend proposed, then I'm sure he will be as eager to hear about my life as well.
How are the little Kjeld is a handful, and Froa is just so quiet.
He takes after his father, and she takes after you.
Well, that's the good and the bad of it.
Oh, I have no doubt my life story is a colossal bore. I'm relying on the hope that as my double, he will enjoy hearing about himself.
If you like meat so much, why not go live in Riften?
Yes, he was staying here at the Braidwood Inn. That's why I get nervous when the doors of the inn swing open. None more so than the first time. I thought, how would I introduce myself? Would I even recognize him? How many of us would recognize our own face if we saw it outside the mirror? It was silly in retrospect. With the war, trying to find a Thalmor in Eastmarch is like picking your nose to wipe your bottom. So I decided instead to enjoy the ambiance. I found a table and looked up at the vaulted ceilings. All that space, and the inn still feels cozy. I was curious as to how they light the chandeliers, given how high they are, so I called the innkeeper's wife over to ask her. Yet, before I could say anything, the first words out of Idra's mouth were, "Oh, you're back. Do you want the usual?" I nodded yes, and sheepishly hid my face in my shoulders as she brought a pint of black briar mead and a salmon steak. Positively sublime. It was, quite frankly, the most scrumptious meal I have ever tasted, and the portions were just right. I felt full, but not sluggish. And the mead, something about the honey they use here, it was brilliant. It was then that I realized my doppelganger and I share more than just a face. I wonder if he too has a deep, inexplicable fear of owls. This might sound strange, but I knew I was safe. I knew he treated Nords here with respect, because that is exactly what I would have done. No, evidently he came here alone, drank alone, and suffered no company. I wondered if this meant he was sad, lonely, or bitter. Yet, talking with Idra, it seems he was not at all temperamental, save the time he was accosted by my friend. I like to think that he limited his interaction with the locals because he knew war was on the horizon. He understood how much more difficult the fighting would become when your friends are on the other side. You know, we Altmer have selectively bred for centuries in order to maintain a resemblance to our ancestors. In this regard, it is quite accurate to say that many of us do look alike. I am beginning to wonder, however, if there is a point to any of it. What matters is not that we look like the Aldmer, but that we act like them. That is the true bond that links me to my doppelganger. Farewell.
With 3 bears down, the orc did frown, and bid the elf goodbye. For none could know 'twas not for show, and someone had to die.
She takes after you.
What do you
Well, that's
want?
the good and the bad.
Come to gawk at the Knight of Thorns? Well, here I am, for your viewing pleasure. Then shut that quammer you call a mouth, and gawk like a proper onlooker. Furrow your brow, sneer your lips, and shake your head in shame. For I was once a heralded knight, a member of the Countess of Shadenhall's inner circle, one she kept by her side like a maiden clutching a rose. Such was my duplicity that I used that trust against her and attempted to take her life, to prick her gentle hand with my treacherous thorns. Pity, incompetence. I should have been tortured, dismembered, and then paraded around the city on a spike. But the court chose exile. Something about my years of service and the countless heroic deeds I did on behalf of the kingdom. Bah! I should have died a traitor's death. So I will have to instead settle for an ignoble life and wear my crown of thorns. Be gone.
If you bring mead, you're welcome here. Even if you don't, you're still welcome. Yes, I've wandered a bit, but I always come back to Kyne's Grove. My clan was one of the first to settle here. Legend says that my forefather Lena discovered the mines after he stumbled into a dark cave to relieve himself. Not an easy world out here. Too much mead. Of course, there's another story of Lena losing the family shield in a different cave. So it depends on who you believe. All right, then.
I've never seen you before. Leave me alone. My pa runs this town, and you're going to be in big trouble if you mess with me.
Mining is hard work, but we pay a fair price for any ore you dig up. Bunch of lazy rabble trying to make a living. Can't get better workers in because everyone's afraid of the tomb up above the mine. Dead dragons. It hasn't moved since Ysgramor, and it's not going to start now. Superstitious milk drinkers. Mm-hmm.
Poor Rogi. If you're feeling charitable, buy the Nordham mead. He's good for it. He's been in Kynesgrove forever. Great storyteller. Keeps everyone's spirits up. Owes me a lot of coin for drinks. I keep telling him not to worry about it, but he's got the stubborn Nord blood. Damn fool doesn't have the coin to pay me back, so he just beats himself up over it, and then he gets thirsty, and it cycles all over again.
I get to go hunting.
When you're able to draw a bow all the way to your shoulder.
I can do that. I did it yesterday.
See ya.
Oh, really?
So can I come?
We'll see.
Did you see my husband already? I'm sorry. He can come off a bit rough at times. Here, take a look at this. Some of the Jarl's men came by and left this bounty letter. Magic is nothing but trouble. If you're set on it, there's that college in Winterhold, or Ulfric's court wizard. But don't say I didn't warn you.
Pickpocket! Got a...
Yeah.
What was that?
Come on! Mercy! Sheathe your weapon.
By the order of the Jarl. Stop right there. Then pay with your blood.
Do something.